Okay, for this painting, I'm going to start doing the circles now. I've already painted this background, but I really like paintings with a lot of high contrast, so I'm going to use this palette by White Nights, and I think I'm just going to go in with these bright orange yellows. So I'm going in first with this bright reddy orange color. And the way I like to start is just by finding a random little spot on the page and just start making shapes. So I make a few same colors throughout this circle in different shapes, and then I'm going to clean off my brush so that it's a lighter value, and I'm just dipping my brush once into the water, so it's got a big amount of water inside of it, and I'm just dropping some water into the wet paint because I like the bloom effects it makes as it dries. And then I'm going to make a few of these shapes with this value, and then I think I'm going to change the color soon so that we get more variety. Now I'm going to go in with this lighter orange. It's a little bit dirty because I haven't used this palette in so long. I don't know if this is dust or what, but you can just scrape it off with your paintbrush or take a like a piece of paper towel or something. Let's see how this looks. I'm going to drop some of this color in the wet paint too, randomly. I'm gonna dip my brush again so that I have a lighter value of orange. And once this dries, it's going to appear much lighter. The more water you have, the lighter your colors will dry. They dry about 20% lighter as when they first go on, unless if you're using watercolor, liquid watercolors. Okay. Now, I'm not really sure what I want to do where these areas intersect. For now, I'm just going to do the parts that are not intersecting. I don't know, I kind of want to do something with like tints or shading, but I'm afraid it might mess it up. We'll see. Maybe as I go along painting more, something will come to me. And you can see here that I'm not painting anywhere where there's pencil lining, because once this all dries, then I can erase the pencils and it'll look like this really seamless border that I made. Even though I didn't really make it by painting it, I did it just by being careful to not paint over the pencil lines. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into the red orange. Ooh, that is vibrant. Wow. Because there's so much water in here, I think it might actually dry a little bit lighter than how it looks when I first put it on. think I'm just going to connect these and then paint white over it later. I have this, it's Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, and this stuff is so thick, it's like you can paint over pretty much any color and it won't show the color underneath. With gouache, it's another type of painting medium. It has a tendency to show the paint color underneath, so like the red would end up turning pink where I painted white gouache over it. But I think acrylic works similarly to this bleed proof white. But I like to use this stuff because with acrylic it tends to dry really quickly, and it's also like I don't have the using this kind of a brush for acrylic paint would be really bad for my brush, so I don't want to use it with this squirrel hair brush, fancy brush. So if you want to make sure that there's not so much water in the paint, you can just take a strip of paper towel and at the very tip just let it absorb it. I'm going to do that for this one too. Okay. It also helps things dry a bit faster because if there's a huge puddle then it tends to take a bit longer. So like this area right here and this area right here, I'm going to use the bleed proof white to fix those little mistakes. Oops, now that area kind of made a weird shape over here. I'm going to use a darker red orange now for right here too. I try and do like a really vibrant value, like a dark value, so something like this, and then a medium range like this one here, and then something light. And I keep forgetting to add in these little drops of paint to add some more texture. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing it around here. This one might be a little tricky because it's so small. I have to make sure it's completely dry before I move on. Okay, I guess I'll paint this big one. So if you're left-handed, then paint from right to left. If you're right-handed, paint from left to right. Trust me, I've learned the hard way because you end up smearing it on accident. Like your wrist will paint over it. There's a little boo-boo. Ah! No. Sometimes that happens. It's okay. It's alright. So there's a little boo-boo right here of blue. So I think I'll just paint as if that was a part of the border, and then I'll go back over it with the bleed proof white. Okay, I'm gonna take really dark value, drop it in, and then use this paint, this dark value, to paint more throughout the circle. I don't think I'm going to keep painting in the middle anymore because it's making my shapes end up weird like this. So I'm just going to paint around the edges first and then I'll change the color. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just making kind of squarish shapes. This is more of a, what is it, pentagon? Is that the shape? More 5 sides. Okay, now I'm going to clean off my brush and just add in some water. Some clean water to get those bloom effects while the paint is still wet. If your paint isn't wet still, then it's not really going to work. So as that dries, it'll make these like splotches. It's pretty cool. I like how that looks. Now I'm going to take the bright orange again and just keep painting. I'm trying to make sure that there's enough variety. Like, I don't want to put 2 of these right next to each other. You could. I definitely did that in the background. But I want to try and add more variety with them being right next to each other. I like, this sounds really cheesy, but I like to make the eyes dance around and look at like all the different colors and shapes that are going on. So when you have like a darker value next to a lighter value and then another darker value, it's like, ooh, it just makes your eyes want to go all over the place. Okay, maybe do one more over here, lighter value. And then I think I'll drop some darker ones inside, because why not?